All right, as promised, I said I would show you how to make this into a site plan. So the first thing to do is I'm going to make a copy of this because I like to have a clean one that I just work on and then I show stuff on another one. So I'm going to come over here on the site. I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate the view. And I'm just going to use that first option. I don't need detailing or a dependent or anything like that. I'll just keep it simple, start out simple. I'll duplicate it. And so now I'm on copy of site one. So I'm going to rename that. Site plan with dimensions. Okay. So there we go. Site plan with dimension. You can call it whatever you want. Now here's some really cool things that you can do. You can put property, not property lines. I want to tag this now. Sorry. I'm going to go to my annotate tab and I'm going to tag the category of property line. Click and I click on a property line. It says, oh, you don't have one loaded. That's okay. I'll load one right now. And there it's an annotation. So I'm going to go to the annotation folder and it's probably civil because that's who deals with property tax. Civil. There it is. And I can do just the plain Jane property line tag. There's other versions of it. I'm just going to use this plain Jane one. Look, click, 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 click. I've got my property tags. It's so cool. It's all I need to do. Isn't that awesome? And then there's elevation spot markers. So every corner usually gets an elevation. So I'm going to double click. Oops. Double click. Double click. Double click. Ooh, that one's a little bit of a problem. There it goes. Double click. And there it is. Double click. There. I have a pretty cool site plan started already. I'm going to go back to annotate and I'll put some dimensions in now. I use these aligned dimensions. I find it's usually easier. Okay. And I may have to look at this as a wireframe for a moment. And there's my 50 feet. I'm clicking over to here. There's my 40 feet. Oh, come on, click. There we go. And then I think I can even get this length from here to here. 6 feet. And from, say, here to here. So I just did my horizontal and my vertical. So I've got this thing fairly well dimensioned now. People can tell, oh, maybe I want to also put in there we go, the driveway. And then I can, of course, turn it back into my hidden if I want to do so. I think that looks pretty cool like that. So that's how you make your site plan. I've got a very cool site plan. If you want to do one extra thing that's really neato, you can go back to massing and site, and you can put these things called contour labels on, which if I click and drag it across, it actually gives me my elevations for all of these little things here. And that's a really, really neat little tool. Okay, now I know that these are my local levels, and I would need a note. There's all sorts of extra things that you could do here if you wanted to. The other thing I'm going to do is hide my 0 point. Okay, but I've got a pretty cool now site plan. This would be, and I would want to call this existing. I've just typed that in over here in my project browser. So that's how we do that. Isn't that the coolest thing? And this should all say, this says the phase is new construction. So I want to call that. Everything here is existing. Oh, okay. I put my, I have to actually, I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to take all that stuff and make my walls. And I'm going to make those all existing. And I'm going to take my roof and I'm going to make it existing. So that's one of the things about Revit is you have to say not just what things are, you have to say when they are. You don't have to, but we are doing that. So now when I say that this is phase existing, everything shows up. That's all my existing stuff. Okay, and there we go. That's my site plan view. Did I lose? Did I somehow lose? It looks like somehow I lost my thing there. Oh, that's because this topography also that needs to be existing. Yeah, I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Let me see if this is already existing. That has to be existing. So you have to go back and change everything to existing. Because I'm going to change it later on. These trees have to be existing. All of these trees need to show as existing. So this is just a little bit of cleanup stuff to go through. You have to make everything when as well as what. So I want the phase. I want this drawing. This is going to be my 3D view. So I'll duplicate it. And this one is my existing. So I'll rename it. There we go. Now I've got everything done and taken care of. I've got my 3D view of what's existing. I've got my site plan of what is existing. I need to call that existing. Those were the two things that I'm looking for. And it's really cool stuff. All right. And you can work on getting all those parts done and set. There we go. That's your existing using Revit.